Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, here to bring you the sky this week for May 1st, 2023. Welcome to all of you. Love to see where you're watching from. This is going to be nice this week. We're in store for a few interesting things that I'd love to share with you guys. Love to see where you're watching from. See from Ukraine, from Roswell, New Mexico, all other places far in between. Welcome. We are here every week on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, talking about what else? Stargazing, basic stargazing, easy stargazing, things that you can go out of your doorstep and look up in the sky and enjoy. Perhaps you're stuck within the city. Maybe you're in a typical suburb with lots of light pollution, or maybe you're lucky enough to be in the countryside. And no matter where you are around the world, there is something to see. There's lots of really interesting things always available to the naked eye, whether you're watching with binoculars or perhaps you're watching with a telescope. There is something for beginners and advanced people too, but I like to do this show basically for mostly casual observers who don't necessarily spend a lot of time looking up, but would love to know what those things are. So why don't we dive right in? If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel. It means a lot and allows me to bring this into your homes every week. So let's dive in. Here is the Planetarium program set up for us for tonight, when this broadcast is doing. The date of this broadcast, May 1st, as you can see down below. You can see the time, that stamp that this is put in. So this is about, I would say, a little bit after sunset. I'm located in Montreal, Canada. So this is very typical to what we'd have in mid-northern latitudes. But let's say you are in the southern hemisphere. You're not in the northern hemisphere. You'll see the same kind of objects, many times the same concentration of objects, but the orientations are going to be different. The height in your altitude in the sky that these objects are located would be different. But pretty much we see the same objects, especially when it comes to solar system objects. So this is the sky, and you get to see our very bright neighboring planet, Venus, really pinning down the western sky. There's no doubt about that. This is like the easiest object to see. And then if you look above left of it, there is going to be a orange colored star. See that? That is planet Mars right there. And Mars is, of course, another neighboring world. It is at a distance away. You can see here Currently, it is 14.5 light minutes away, which is equal to 261 million kilometers away. It's really impressive. The magnitude is just at about +1, which makes it bright enough to see with the naked eye, no doubt, even from light polluted cities. So if your sky looking towards the west has a lot of light pollution, there's still a very good opportunity to be able to see that orange color. And remember, when you're looking at Mars, that distinctive orange color of the disk of the planet, as you can see in this close-up image taken from a spacecraft orbiting the moon, I should say Mars, you can see that the typical Martian color is right there. That's from all the iron oxide on the surface of the planet. Really impressive, very impressive that you can see this color even with the naked eye. So I challenge you to go outside tonight or maybe sometime later this week if you're clouded out on Monday, May 1st, sometime later this week, look for Mars to the upper left of Venus. It looks like an orange distinctive colored star. So that's something really neat. And of course, if we kind of move along the sky, let's see if we can do that. You can see that there is also another character that's very bright. You see the moon over there. And also there's a bright star below this pair of Mars and Venus. Before I go over to the moon, you see that's the star Sirius. This is, of course, in Canis Major, the big dog constellation, which is next to Orion constellation, with the belt of Orion being very evident. As you can see, we're kind of reaching the very end of the season of being able to see it. It's traditionally Orion and Sirius, and which is part of Canis Major, are visible in the wintertime. And of course, now we're in spring, very much so, later in spring, and in the northern hemisphere, later in the fall if you're in the southern hemisphere. And this constellation is kind of winking out. It's getting lost in the glare of the sun. So we won't be getting our best views anymore of these stars and constellations. But if we move over to, let's see if we can do that, move over to the southeastern sky after sunset on Monday, you'll see that there is the waxing gibbous moon visible in our sky. So this is, again, Monday, May 1st. You can see the date at the bottom of the screen. There you are. That is what the view will be after sunset, that beautiful waxing gibbous moon. And to the left of it is a bright yellowy orange star called Arcturus. Arcturus is in the constellation Bootes. It is about 36.7 light years away. It's an absolutely beautiful star. It has that very soft orange light, as you can see in the description there. And its name actually means bear watcher. Greek word for bear is Arctos. Arctos. So Arcturus, that's the origin of the name from the Greek word for bear. And that star is known as the bear watcher. Why? Because, of course, if we go a little bit later at night, look what we have close by. Right nearby is the Great Bear constellation right there, with marked by, of course, what else but the Big Dipper upside down there, as you can see. If it's dark enough in the northern hemisphere, you're in the northern hemisphere, you'll see that very, very clearly, that Great Bear constellation. But Arcturus, known as the Bear Watcher, obviously because it's close to the Big Dipper. Now here the Big Dipper is a very good group of stars known as an asterism. It's a group that's very eye-catching, forms this very seven stars forms this group like a bowl and a handle. And it's on its side right now for us in the northern hemisphere in the early evening skies. But what's really neat is that if you follow the handle stars of the Big Dipper, see these three stars right there? See, it's kind of like in an arc formation, right? So if you kind of extend it out, use an imaginary line and just follow that arc that these stars of the Big Dipper's handle forms. Just follow that arc. The arc leads you to what else? Arcturus, right? So arc to Arcturus. And then if you take a straight line kind of from there, you continue kind of bending it into straight, you spike to Spica. Isn't that neat? So you arc to Arcturus, spike to Spica. This is a well-known amateur stargazing kind of um, little saying we have to remember this trick of star hopping. See, what you're doing here is the practice of star hopping, hopping from one star to the next to learn the sky. Very easy to do. You don't have to be very familiar with the sky other than finding the Big Dipper, and that will lead you to these stars. So what I'm showing you is a very fundamental technique in stargazing that's open to everyone. And even if you're in light polluted cities, if you can see the Big Dipper, you'll be able to act very well, which is a brighter star, Arcturus and Spica. These are two very bright stars. Now, what's interesting is while Arcturus is in the constellation of Boötes here, when we spike to Spica, Spica is in the constellation Virgo, right? So Virgo, the maiden. And that's underneath the moon on Monday, May 1st. Remember, we're down here. You can see the date. May 1st, Monday, the moon is above Spica. It actually forms this beautiful triangle. Here's another kind of mental note that you can make that'll catch your eye and form this beautiful triangle with this orangey yellow colored star called Arcturus, and then Spica, which is a distinctive blue colored star. What's interesting with Spica, while Arcturus is about 36 light years away, look at the distance of Spica, 250 light years away. It is actually, despite its enormous distance, it's bright. It competes with Arcturus, which is 36 light years. And what does that tell us? That tells us that Spica is a very powerful star. In fact, it's the 15th brightest star in the entire sky. They're with Arcturus, Spica together, this duo of two stars are the brightest stars in the springtime skies in the northern hemisphere. So this time of the year, they really knock your eyes out, very evident. And they form this beautiful triangle on Monday, May 1st. So do check that out. It's a lot of fun to be able to see that trio, the moon, Arcturus, and Spica. And remember, just use that arc to Arcturus trick from the Big Dipper to learn how to find Boötes constellation, that Arcturus is the brightest star, and Spica, where you can find Virgo, the maiden. And you can see that the moon is actually near the head of the maiden right now. It's a very big constellation. You'll see when you go outside, I know it looks small here, right? I'm showing you here this small compressed thing. You might be watching me on your smartphone or on your laptop or maybe on your iPad or whatever, in your tablet. And it's like this big, right? And you look at that distance, you go, well, that doesn't look like much. But actually, there's a huge gap of space between the moon and Spica. You'll be surprised. And that's the piece of real estate we call a Virgo, the maiden. It's a huge constellation. It takes up a large portion of the sky. And you'll be amazed at that. So when you see this, the trick here for a beginner skywatcher is transposing what you're seeing on your screen as being these two, objects, the moon and Spica, into something that's in the sky and how vast those two are. You'll be amazed when you see how much space is. So this is May 1st. But what would happen if we go and change this to Tuesday? So this is Tuesday. Look where the moon is now. See that the moon has popped down closer. Now it's kind of like a squashed triangle with Arcturus. Still a triangle, but much, much more shallow, right? And then watch what happens by Wednesday night. Boom. The moon has this beautiful pairing with Spica. So this 250 light year distant star is pairing up with an object, which is the nearest celestial object to our planet Earth. It's only 1.2 light seconds away. So the light you're seeing from the moon takes just over a second to reach your eye, right? And then from Spica, which is right next door to the moon, it's going to take upwards of 250 years for that light to reach your eye from that beautiful blue colored star. So do check that out. And you can see to the far left of this beautiful pair will be Arcturus. Again, All of this is in the evening sky. We're looking towards where? The southeastern part of the sky, about an hour after your local sunset. And of course, if you watch it over the course of the night, this is again Wednesday night, right? So you can you can watch the pair climb the sky. So watch an hour later, an hour later. See, because they're climbing the eastern sky. Absolutely just beautiful. So just go outside and look for this on Wednesday evening when the skies darken. You don't want to miss it. It's beautiful. And if you can have clear skies, tonight, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you see the trio coming together, right? So that you're going to have that beautiful show from Monday. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. So that'll be really, really cool. Now, what else is happening? Well, on Friday, if we move to Friday, right? Thursday, Friday, the moon is going to be full. We're going to have the full moon for the month of May. It's known, goes by many different names, and one it could be the silk moon. One I like is called the flower moon, and the flower moon it's the moon. The full moon is called the flower moon in May because, of course, this time of the year is when flowers start to, pop out after a long winter. So we see those flowers, and traditionally that's in the month of May. For those of us in the mid-northern latitudes, that's the case. We start seeing, I know here in Montreal, I'm seeing some flowers pop up. So that's the name of the full moon. It's going to be in the constellation Libra, the scales. That's where the moon will be. And what will be very interesting is look for Friday's full moon to be sandwiched between two bright stars. Spica, our friend Spica, remember we were just talking about it, that blue, gorgeous blue star in Virgo on the right-hand side of the moon. And then on the left-hand side of the moon will be a brilliant orange star. And that star is called Antares. It's the brightest star in the constellation Scorpius. So we'll be going into that in a few minutes. Just bear with me. We're going to talk a little bit about. Let's just pop out of the planetarium program, and I'm going to my friend's website at timeanddate.com, and we're going to be looking at the moon. They've got some really neat stuff about eclipses. And if you just follow the links, and that's what I'm doing here, Time and Date has for May 5th and 6th what we call a penumbral lunar eclipse. Okay, this is going to be visible, this eclipse, for anyone you can see here on the map here. Anyone in red is going to be able to see this lunar eclipse. So it's visible in Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, Pacific, Atlantic, Indian Oceans, and Antarctica. Guess who's out of the picture, folks? It's the Americas, North and Central and South America. Unfortunately, we are not in the path of this eclipse. You can see that clearly here. South America, North America in white, meaning we won't see the shadow of the sun, of our planet cast on the moon. That's what a lunar eclipse is. Everyone, if you're anywhere here where it's red, you're going to be lucky. And if you have clear skies, on Friday, you'll be able to see the lunar eclipse. Now, don't get too excited because this lunar eclipse is a penumbral lunar eclipse, meaning it's the outer shadow cone of the Earth. So this is the shadow cone of what the Earth is. And you see, it'll be in the outer shadow cone, meaning that you'll see only a slight darkening of the disk of the moon. The silvery bright disk of the moon will get darkened very, very slightly. About 97% of the moon's disk will be in this outer shadow cone. Usually the spectacular lunar eclipses, the full lunar eclipses, we call the blood moon. You've probably heard of that. You've probably maybe even seen those. I've talked many times of blood moons. Well, those full total lunar eclipses where it turns orangey red, the moon's has to go into the dark shadow cone. You see that here? This partial, this central, like it's like a bullseye almost here. That is where the moon should be for it to turn red. But that's not going to happen here. And this is a partial kind of this is a penumbral lunar eclipse. It'll stick to the outer cone of the shadow of the Earth and therefore not turn dark. When is it the best time to see it? You'll see it slightly turn. And the maximum eclipse will be at 1722 Universal Time. Universal Time, 1722 Universal Time. So make your calculation. I'm going to put a link to this, and you can do your own research for yourself. I'm going to put it there, so get you guys going if you're in the right place. So if you're in Africa, you're in Europe, or you're watching in Australia or in Asia, somewhere about in the Pacific region, you can look for this on Friday. Again, Friday, and this will be at 1722 Universal Time. Okay, so that is, and why I won't be able to see it, you can see here at Montreal time. See what it says? It says 1:22 p.m. It's the daytime. So of course, I'm going to be on the wrong side of the earth for this show. Hopefully you are. Let me know in the chat if you are in the right place for this. Are you expecting to see it? Are you in this shadowed area that's on this map? I put the link in the chat so you can take a look for yourself, just explore it and see. But if you're in the red, you are going to see the moon turn slightly during that. You can see here in this animation, what they're showing you is how the moon enters the shadow of the earth and then leaves. See that? Over a course of, I don't know, in a few hours. So that's what we can see on Friday with the penumbral lunar eclipse. Penumbral meaning the outer shadow of the earth. Friday, okay? And if you're still on the wrong side on Friday, look for that beautiful full moon. It never fails to please, is looking at that full moon in the sky on Friday. This is what to expect on Friday night. The full moon will rise soon after sunset. Look towards the east for that silvery orb, and it'll be sandwiched between Antares and Spica. Okay, these two beautiful stars. Now, remember we talked about Antares here on Friday? Look what will happen. I'm just going to move this a few hours later, so we'll see the Scorpius. There's Scorpius. You see Antares marks the eye or the heart of the scorpion, depending on the legend that you're referring to, but it is the brightest star in Scorpius. But look what happens later on. So this is Friday, but let's say Saturday. Look at by Saturday where the moon is, right? The moon is going to be right next to Antares. That beautiful orange bright star will be paired with that bright, brilliant moon. The moon and Antares, beautiful pairing in the clutches of Scorpion's claws. Now, there's one more thing, is a beautiful meteor shower. The Eta Aquariids will be peaking this coming up weekend on May 6th and May 5th, Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday morning before dawn is going to be the best time to see the Eta Aquariids. So we'll just put the Eta Aquariids in here, and we'll see them center it. There we go. And if we go later on, we can see here, let's go to Saturday, and we change these hours, and we see, what do we see? It's showing us what we call the radiant of the meteor shower. So every meteor shower is caused by a cloud of debris that Earth slams into. This cloud of debris is leftover remains of a comet. And guess what, guys? What's really cool about this comet that is the originator of the Eta Aquariids? It's probably the most famous of all comets, Comet Halley. Halley's Comet, which comes around once every 76 years. Last time it came was 1986. I actually saw it. I happened to be in the Kalahari Desert in South Africa, and I actually saw the Halley's Comet in the springtime, and it's an amazing sight. And the remnants of Halley's is what you're going to see. You're going to actually see bits and pieces of Halley's Comet rain down this weekend. And it's not a very prolific shower, but you'll see approximately anywhere from, maybe 10 to upwards of 25 shooting stars per hour, depending on how dark your skies are. So if you can get out to the dark countryside, you'll see a lot more than if you would be stuck in a city. There's also a lot of fireballs. These are bright, unusually bright meteors. They're associated with the Eta Aquariid. So what you're seeing here is animation showing you the location of where they appear to be radiating out from. And guess what? That constellation is called Aquarius. That's where the Eta Aquariid name comes from. The name of the meteor shower, and it's the case for all other meteor showers, they are named after the constellation that they appear to radiate out from. It's as simple as that. That's where the names of meteor showers come from. So we can talk about the Leonids coming from Leo, the Geminids coming from Gemini, the Perseids coming from Perseus, and so on. That is the connection between the meteor shower names and their point of origin in the sky. You know that that's where they're appearing. And that's because the Earth is moving, plowing through this cloud. And that's what we're seeing us. It's like these bugs splashing on the windshield of a fast-moving car. They seem to be coming from one core area in front of the car. In this case, the car is the Earth. Our windshield is our atmosphere. And the bugs in this case are sand grain-sized leftovers, remnants of Comet Halley that's spraying onto our Earth's windshield, our beautiful atmosphere, and they burn up in a flash, right? In a fraction of a second. That's what you're seeing. So what'll be cool is this is the shot. What you're seeing here is looking towards basically the southeastern sky. And you're going to be waiting until after midnight. This is around 4 o'clock in the morning. If like this is 3, 2 o'clock. The later that you watch this in the night, okay? So between midnight and probably 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, an hour before local, an hour and a half before local sunrise, I would say is the sweet spot. That is when we'll actually see the most meteors wherever you are. And I'm talking about local time where you are, between midnight and 4 a.m., wherever you are in the world. That's when the radiant of the shower will be high up in the sky and you'll see more meteors. Now, that's not to say you won't see shooting stars before. If you can only stay up like until 10, 11 o'clock at night, Friday night, you'll still see shooting stars, but not quite as many as in the overnight period, in the early morning hours after midnight. So again, 10 shooting stars to 25 per hour. The Eta Aquariids, beautiful. And if you're nowhere to look, if you don't know the sky, you'll see in the east-southeast sky, you'll see the brightest star-like object will be Saturn, right there. Saturn will lead you to where the Eta Aquariids are. Let me just pop that in again. There we go. Center it again. There we go. That is Saturn's right there. So it's the brightest star in the early morning sky in the east. You can't miss it. There's nothing else that compares. So you know you're looking towards the radiant. Radiant is very close, just off to the side of Saturn. Isn't that cool? Of course, if you have a telescope, remember, you can actually zoom in on Saturn and see, its beautiful rings, of course, which are very famous. Through a telescope, you can actually see that, which is really neat. And it's amazing to think that Saturn is 84 light minutes away. 1.5 billion kilometers away is Saturn. Something really, really cool, isn't that? So there you are, folks. Lots of really interesting things. You've got the moon, full moon. You have a lunar eclipse, the moon forming a triangle with 2 bright stars, learning how to use the Big Dipper's handle to find other stars, star hopping. There's so much to see. And this stuff is visible to the naked eye. You don't need a telescope or binoculars to the stuff I talked about today, really, to start enjoying the night sky. It's really simple. So highly recommend it. Even if you're in the city and you don't know your way around too much, the moon is a great way to start. That's why I show you the moon so often, because it's a good starting point. If you're a casual star watcher, sky watcher, it's you don't need more than 10-15 minutes to really start enjoying the sky. So I hope I gave you some good tips here this week. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, turn on notifications, subscribe to my channel. That means a lot, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Please do subscribe to my channel. And I pump this out every week with sky charts. Watch my timeline on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for sky charts of the things that I talked about in this video that I'll be showing you. And of course, you can visit my website, thenightskyguy.com, for other astronomy news as well. I try to keep informed with all kinds of cool stuff. And if you like to get more information about stargazing, maybe read some more, I can recommend you my book. It's a bestseller on Amazon, Backyard Guide to the Night Sky. It's out by National Geographic, so you know it's filled with quality images. I made sure there's quality maps in there. I've put in all my tips and tricks. It's a pocket guide. I'm selling these on my website, thenightskyguy.com, signed, dedicated copies, personally signed by me. I'm sending these out. If you're interested in one of those copies, just visit my website and there's links for that. I'll put it in the comments after the show. I also have something, if you're interested in something more serious or maybe as a gift, Stargazer's Atlas. This is my newest edition. I'm a co-author on this, and I'm actually I was instrumental in putting together the star maps that are the heart of this atlas. All 88 constellations visible around the world are covered in depth with deep sky objects, mythology, cultural connections. We also talk about astrotourism, where you can visit places around the world that have an astronomy theme to them. Also, our astroarchaeology, the deep connection of humanity to the night sky. That's what it's all about. And of course, science about everything that we know about planets, moons, constellations, comets, you name it, it's there. Latest findings. So I'm selling dedicated signed copies of this too on my website. I'll have a link for that too. So there's lots of things, obviously, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day and a great week. And until the next video, I wish all of you clear skies. Bye-bye.